Hi. So your piriformis hurts, right? It's that sucker that hooks onto your pelvis and over to your hip bone. It's kind of the thing that tries to keep your foot in line to point forward. Our ankle doesn't point our foot out. Our knee does not point our foot out. Our hip is actually what points our foot out, right? I mean, some people might have an ankle that's all messed up or a knee that's all messed up, but generally speaking, if you stand like this with your feet pointing a little laterally as opposed to forward, your piriformis is going to hurt. Do me a favor. Stand up, turn your feet out, and put your hand on your hip right here. You can feel it. That muscle that moves from your hip to your sacrum, right there, goes that way. Sucker hurts when it starts to hurt because it's a tricky thing, because our sciatic nerve runs right next to it. So some people think they're having a sciatic issue. The key to know if it's your piriformis or if it's sciatic nerve is how far down does the pain go. If the pain just goes to your knee, it might not be sciatica, but it is affecting your sciatic nerve. You see what I mean? If it goes down to your heel, you probably are dealing with sciatica and probably an inflamed piriformis as well. So how do you self-massage this sucker so it quits hurting? Well, first of all, knowing where it articulates is the most important thing. It hooks at your pelvis bone and over to your hip bone, and it allows your foot to do this, which means that your pelvis is hanging on to that muscle and your hip bone is the one that's pulling on it, right? As you turn your foot, you're gonna go into the kitchen, you're gonna go that way. So your hip works like that every time, and it's a hip muscle, it's the thing that moves your hip. So when you find it by laterally pushing your leg out, and the muscle that moves when you do that is your piriformis, and it goes horizontally, not vertically like the majority of our muscles do. I'm going to show you first a floor thing. Now that you found it and you know it's the one, I put a little bit of cream on my hand and I put it right there, and I just sort of hold it there. I'm going to hold it there. I'm going to hold it right there on the belly of the muscle, just to let the muscle know I'm about to work it. Then I move it over to the pelvis where it articulates. I want you to understand, this muscle is very deep. It goes deeper than your outside buttocks muscles, right? It's an inside deep muscle that goes inside, like deep. So when you get in there and you're rubbing, you got to rub first through the bigger muscles surrounding it, okay? So you have your gluteus maximus, your gluteus medius, and your minimus is way up here, which also will hurt. Your minimus will hurt, but the minimus is deep too. So the piriformis is deep, so it takes some time to rub in there. When you get it, when you are on it, it's going to feel like you're giving yourself a shot because it hurts, right? So once that shot, you've rubbed that feeling of the shot out, because it will go away. It's just tension that needs to go out. Then I want you to lay down, find that muscle, make a fist, both sides, make a fist, and I just roll on it like this. And I lay flat on my back, and I just roll on both piriformises. Roll back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Point your toes forward. Roll back and forth. Don't let them point out, point forward. Don't let them point out, point forward. And just roll, roll, roll. And I just keep putting my hands in there. Oh, it feels so good. You can also put a tennis ball here and here. Any kind of thing like that. But definitely, then when you do put the tennis ball, lay your legs flat. I just use my fists, but I'm laying flat on it and breathing. What I'm doing is I'm pinning that muscle with my fist like this, and then stretching my legs out and laying straight. If you have a lateral rotation, I would suggest you lay on a yoga block. So if one of your feet points out like that, worse than the other one, or let's say one points forward, one at a time though, I want you to do this. But this yoga block, I put it on the edge of my buttocks there, and I lay flat. So if you have a rotation of your hip and it flips out, this is going to point it forward and up where it should point. Lay on that for like 5 minutes. Do it on the other side. Let me know how it goes.